Don't wear no panties. Annie, don't wear no panties. I always forget what they say. Annie, don't wear no panties. It's a big thing. Santa Claus didn't bring a lot of signs and draws. Come on, say it. The Annie, don't wear no panties. Annie, don't wear no panties. Hey, say it with me, say it. Don't wear no panties. Saw her in the bathroom stall, was there when she took them all. Come on, go. Don't wear no panties. Don't wear no panties. Hey, we get the day. Don't wear no panties. They was laying on the bathroom floor, they was filled with the Holy Ghost. Oh, come on, baby. Don't wear no panties. Come on, Annie. Don't wear no panties. Hey, it's in the day. Don't wear no panties. So fellas, if you can't afford it, I think you need to videotape, record it. Come on, oh, don't wear no panties. Don't wear no panties. Hey, come on, baby. Hey, don't wear no panties. She was sitting on the front pew, giving Deacon Johnson them a good view. Don't wear no panties. Don't wear no panties. Hey, the ticket to the day. Hey, don't wear no panties. Wait, she might not have no draws, but I bet she won't forget the hot sauce. Oh, don't wear no panties. Don't wear no panties. Don't wear no panties. She was sitting on the bathroom sink, having her a faucet drink. Oh, come on, wait. Don't wear no panties. Don't wear no panties. Hey, come on, stand there. Don't wear no panties. Yeah, don't wear no panties. Don't wear no panties. It's the note you meant to hear, right?
Peace, family. This is FleurBrun coming to you this evening for a pro bono Tuesday, which I decided to see if it does well. Tuesday night, FleurBrun After Dark. As you know, FleurBrun After Dark is a little more seedy, a little more sexually piloted. So I thought I'd kind of kick it off with Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu, Annie Wears No Panties. So check on in, everybody. The phone lines are going to be open. This is a last minute ditch to see if Tuesdays would go off well with FleurBrun After Dark, talking about tonight's sex and bloodlines. So check on in. I'm gonna have the phone lines open in a moment, so you guys can kind of call in, ask questions. We talked about, I was actually on an interview this morning, which would be this evening in Europe, in Denmark. And big up to the young ladies who had me on, the Sea Stars who had me on today. So much fun. We had a good time. It was like hanging out with old friends. These Sea Stars are wonderful. They have a wonderful channel. Check out the Blog Talk. They're phenomenal. I really enjoyed the chit chat, but we actually went into bloodline. So I thought, I was talking about doing a Tuesday night FleurBrun After Dark, and it gets a little seedy. So as you know, I'm going to kick off the show, but I'm going to ask you to remove all little people. Hopefully they'll be asleep, depending on what time zone you're in. And this show will be quite interesting. And I will intend to do it. If it does well tonight, we will do Tuesdays, every second Tuesday, more piloted, sexually explicit show called FleurBrun After Dark. We go into sexualities, ET, speciesism. We go into forms of tantric sex, all types of alternative concepts. So for this, it should be really fun. So I'm going to give you the number. I'm going to check on in with Blog Talk. Give me a second because I had to do this separately, my Blog Talk. So give me one moment. I'm going to check on in with Blog Talk. We're going to kick off the show. Episodes. I see everyone checking in. We're going to do our kickoff with our shout outs in just a moment. You know, I'm a little slow with this. I think because I'm so close to I'm sorry, family. You know, when I intend to do this last minute, it always comes out looking a little iffy. I want my phone lines open, and I'm trying to get it open. Oh, I think I got it. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. Oh, it looks like it won't start off the phone lines until 9 o'clock. All right, family. So it looks like the phone lines, let's see. Okay, so let's just, everyone's calling in already. I have it set for 9 o'clock. I'm a little early. Generally, you know, I'm generally a little late. So for this, I'm just going to go into setting the time. Hold on. I'm actually going to replace the time. Oh, well, let me replace the time. Okay. All right. So family, let's talk before I can get to the phone lines. Don't worry, I'm going to leave it the same. I don't want to really change anything right now. In about 15 minutes, the phone lines will be open for questions. So this will give a chance for us to chit chat before the phone lines will be open. You have any questions? This is open mic tonight. Again, we're doing a little bit of a preamp to what may be Tuesdays, a CD Tuesday with FleurBrun After Dark. So let's get into the shout outs. You know how we do. Oh yes, let me address for those warriors and warrioresses. I am getting all your emails and I'm making sure that I put them all together. We will have a meet and greet on a phone call within the next 2 weeks, if you can be patient with me. We have quite a few people that answered the call to be warrior and warrioresses to address the issues that are occurring with the attacks and the offenses against the divine. And I am so grateful to say that we have had a host of wonderful beings who have come to the call. So big up to y'all. I've gotten all emails that are coming in piece by piece. Remember, I'm one person, so it takes me a little longer. And you know, I'm a woman of a certain age, like we talked in the show earlier. So I will address every single email. And again, you will all be posted within 2 weeks to actually be on a full call and get to meet one another and be addressed. And again, I'm building an army to deal with the seediness in this debaucherous world. But that being said, and I wanted to thank everyone. Listen, thanks to all those who are doing wonderful giving, wonderful donations. I'm so appreciative. We're getting donations for FleurBrun Sanctuary. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. They're coming in left and right, and make sure to let you know that goes to our sea stars that are actually going on the exodus to Brazil. So big up to those who are donating to FleurBrun Sanctuary. It is absolutely, I'm in awe. So thank you for that. So let's kick off the show. You know how we do. Tell me where you're from. Kick off your your city, your state, and we'll kick off the show before we go into phone lines. So who's going to shout themselves out first? I'm going to do Orlando's in the house. Big up to Orlando. DC represent. What up, Queen? Jewel is in the house. What up, Orlando? Orlando, somebody's from Orlando here. You're by me, Martha. Hey, carry on. The D-Town is in the house. Was good. Jamrock was good. London. Hey, beautiful Maitreya. You're 8 months. Looking beautiful as usual. Brooklyn's in the house. What up? Big up to Brooklyn. Boston's in the house. New York. New York. What up? London in his house. What's good, Mary? Virginia's in the house. San Jose, California's in the house. Queens is in the house. Denver's in the house. Cleveland, Ohio is in the house. Hey, Desiree. Cadillac representing for Seattle. Camden, New Jersey. What up, Jersey? Karima is in the house. Milwaukee in the house. What up, Mavati? Denver representing Z Shots, Divinity. Big up to you. Houston, Texas is in the house. Houston, Cody. Email me. We have somebody in Austin that I would love to connect some people to. I know you're in Houston, but I want to connect anyone in Austin, Texas. I just wanted to ask that you shout yourself out because I want to know who's in Austin. Chicago's in the house. Kalamazoo, Michigan's in the house. Minneapolis is in the house. North Kakalaki, Alabama. North Carolina, Franklin Mountains is in the house. London again representing. Tamarack, Florida, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Harlem, what up? By way of Brooklyn, BK and Harlem, what up? Uptown and downtown, Seattle. Shreveport, Louisiana's in the house. You from the woods, Black Wolf? I love it. We love the woods because we'll be coming to y'all soon enough. North Kakalaki's in the house. Oh, we got tons of North Kakalaki back to back to back. What up? Big up to y'all in North Carolina. Big up to y'all in Tennessee. Rhode Island representing. North Carolina's representing tonight. What's going on? You guys are chilly. You're all on the line tonight. Chicago's in the house. Again, North Carolina. Listen, North Carolina, y'all need to have a meet and greet because there's a whole bunch of you on tonight and you can have snacks and chill out and we could all have a conversation. VA is in the house. New York is in the house. Bronx, BX. What up? Carlene is in the house. Alabama's in the house. Harlem again. Riverside. Woo! Harlem, Riverside. Stockholm, California is in the house. North Kakalak. What's up with North Carolina? What's up? Denmark in the house. Big up to Denmark. I was in your neck of the woods on the radio today. Big up to y'all. Atlanta's in the house. Austin, Texas in that. Oh, Ray, you're in Austin, Texas? We have a C-star in Austin, Texas. Contact me, delgaddess@gmail.com. DELGADDESS@gmail.com. We have C-stars. I'm trying to get some C-stars and Sun stars together in Austin, Texas, if you could. So just hit me up. I know I got everybody hit me up, but please hit me up. We got Chicago in the house. Again, North Carolina's in the house. What's up with North Carolina? Vancouver's in the house. Are you guys messing with me? Texas in the house. DFW, Texas is in the house. Myrtle Beach is in the house. South Carolina, finally, we got South Carolina. Maryland's in the house. Daytona Beach is in the house. Florida. Georgia's in the house. Mount Olive, Mississippi is in the house. What's good? Toronto, Ontario. What up? Canada's in the house. Philly. Big up to Philly. Philly in the house. DC, San Diego, North Carolina again. Listen, y'all have our family in North Carolina is vast. You need to have like a meet and greet, a DJ session, hang out, talking about metaphysics and all kinds of everything. Probably get a nice dating pool in there. Georgia, Kensaw, Georgia's in the house. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina is again in the house. North Kakalaki. Look at this, North Kakalaki again. For London's again in the house. Minneapolis, San Francisco. What up, San Francisco? What up, Barn? Charlotte, North Carolina. Stand up. What's good? North Carolina. Listen, North Carolinas. You need to slow down the feed, take each other's information, and contact each other because I think that's beautiful. Whenever we get a beautiful collective like that, it means something like the energies. It means that our frequencies are matching. And whenever you get a collective like that, it's beautiful to feel together. Just if you meet up like once a month and hang out with one another, I would be so supportive. It'd be wonderful to do a live and see all of you chilling out together. Sacramento's in the house. Raleigh's in the house. Okay, so we have Bronx is in the house. Indigenous North Carolina, Virginia, Jamaica. What up? Big up Jamaica is in the house. Earth is in the house. What up, Kelvin? Raleigh, North Carolina, San Diego, wow. Okay, so North Carolina, you already know you represent. Anyway, let me big up our family in Europe. Big up to our family, of course, in in Poland, because they say we have a beautiful family in Poland. So big up to our family in Poland. Big up to our family in Germany, especially in Belgium. Big up to our family in, of course, the Netherlands, especially in Denmark. Big up to the Sea Stars, who I did a beautiful interview with today. Big up to Denmark, by way of Copenhagen. Big up to Sweden. Big up to Switzerland. Big up to Amsterdam. Big up to Holland, and big up to all our family in the Netherlands. Big up to our family in, of course, Ireland. Big up to our family, Carolinas. Come on, yeah, y'all woke up in Carolinas. I don't know what happened. Did you hit the wave? Y'all hit the energetic wave like there is no tomorrow. Corpus Christi is in the house, Texas. Big up to our family in, of course, in parts of Russia. Big up to our family in Bulgaria. Big up to our family in Romania. Our homies in Romania. Big up to y'all. When you contact me, I always remember. Big up to our family in, of course, France, especially in Cannes, France. Big up to our family in Spain. Big up to our family in Italy. Big up to our family, especially in Venice, and also in northern Italy. Big up to our family in you guys have Mexico's in the house. What up, our Mexicano family? I love our Mexicano family. I'm getting there to Central America. Big up to our family, of course, in London, especially in all parts of England and UK. Big up to our family on the outskirts of Greenland. Big up to our family in Iceland. Big up to our family in New Zealand. Big up to our family, and of course, Greece, and Naples. Big up to our family in Turkey. Big up to our family, of course, in Israel, especially in Tel Aviv. DC's in the house. What up, princess? Big up to our family in Palestine. Remember, we have a marriage coming up, a wedding. I'm excited about that. Harlem's in the house. What up, A. Brown? Big up to our family in, of course, let's go a little further, in Jordan. Big up to our homie in Jordan. Big up to our family in Kuwait. Big up to our family in Saudi Arabia. Big up to our family in, of course, by way of India, Indonesia. Big up to our family in China. Big up to our family in Vietnam. Big up to our family in the Philippines. Big up to our family. I tell you, I talk to everyone. Big up to our family in Taiwan. Big up to our family in Japan. The homies in Japan, the hip hop crew that I met. If you know that FleurBrun can dance, then I'm going to just share with you. I can dance every genre, everything. My specialty is Latin dance, but I am a hip-hop nista. So when I meet the other crews from Barbados is in the house. When I meet the other crews, I show love all day. Big up to our Japanese family, the Japanese crew that's down here dancing in Orlando. Big up to them. Big up to our family in, let's go in the Caribbean. Barbados is in the house. St. Croix, St. Vincent, St. Thomas, Bermuda, Bahamas, Barbuda. Right? I got it this time. Jamaica, big up, you know, big up to Jamaica. That's where I get my statement big up from. Big up to Maroon Warriors in the house. I got a lot of Maroon ancestry, a lot of heirlooms contacting me for the Warriors coming out of Jamaica. You guys are rock. So big up to our family from Jamaica. Big up to our family. St. Lucia is in the house. That's right, Maitreya. We share lineage. Big up to our family in Haiti. Haiti K, we're in the house. Haiti, ça passe. The Arawaks representing. Big up to our family in Martinique. Big up to our family in Dominica. Big up to our family in, of course, St. Bart's, the Turks and Caicos. Big up to our family in Trinidad and Tobago. Big up to our family in St. Thomas. Big up to our family in Curacao. Big up to our family. We're going a little more Central America. Big up to our family in Honduras. Montego Bay, St. James is in the house. What up, Faithful to Help? Big up to you. And also St. Catherine in Jamaica. Big up to our family in, of course, Central America. Big up to Phoenix Rising and his beautiful Irie having a beautiful baby soon to be. So big up to them. They are in Honduras. Big up to our Mexicano family, the Incan bloodline, that beautiful Mayan bloodline, the bloodline of the indigenous. Big up to y'all. Big up to our family in Panama. Big up to our family in, of course, Costa Rica. Big up to our family in Guatemala. Big up to our family in Antigua. Big up to our family in Antigua. Big up to our family in I always lose sight of big up to our family in Colombia. I met a very handsome gentleman today. He was quite young. you know, I really admire you young males. You're so beautiful. The divine males are coming out of the pocket, and they just love themselves a seasoned young, you know, a seasoned woman. So big up to the gentleman I met today, Brian, from by way of Colombia. You know, I told him I would probably do harm to him in his peace of mind, so he should stay in his lane. Anyway, big up to Brian. Big up to our family in El Salvador. Big up to our family in Paraguay. Big up to our family. Big up to our family, and of course Brazil, especially Salvador, Bahia, Rio. Big up to our family who's going to see many of us soon in Brazil. Big up to our family in, of course, Australia. I never forget the Down Under. Big up to our family in, of course, a big mahalo to our family in Hawaii, especially in the Big Island, Oahu, which is also known as Honolulu, Maui, and also Kauai. I visited a lot of places. I've been a lot of places. Big up to Africa. Africa, the big, strongest, wonderful, most resourceful continent on this planet. Big up to the family in the Congo. Big up to our family from Sierra Leone. Big up to the family from, of course, Yemen. Big up to our family who's from Ethiopia. Big up to our family from South Africa. Big up to our Ghana family. Big up to our family from Liberia. Big up to our family Libya. Big up to our family in Mozambique. Oh, listen, people, I don't forget Mozambique because they're francophonic. Big up to our family in Mozambique. Big up to our family in Morocco. Big up to our family, of course, in Egypt, formerly known as Kemet. The land of the black, the Nubian land. Big up to our family in, of course, Yemen's in the house. I see Yemen's in the house. Big up to our family in, of course, Kenya, and big up to our family in Nairobi. Big up to our family in Nigeria. Our family who is from Sudan. Big up to our family from Sudan. Big up to all of our family in all of the beautiful continent of Africa. Big up to our family in Bangladesh and India. Big up to our family, of course, in, you want to go to Brazil with us? Who's this, Lynn? Lynn Bergley? Yes. Oh, we'll talk about that. Anyway, so big up to our family, and of course, I have to give a big up to our family, the Andromedans, who are allowing this download to go down tonight. Though they would not probably have a good take on how I feel about the wonderful divine males that we will get in tonight. We're going to get in a very seedy conversation. Big up to the Arcturian contactees, the Syrians, Illyrians, the wonderful Pelagians. Big up to our family who are also connected to the Arcturians. Big up to our family that are connected to, of course, the Zeta Reticulans. Big up to the Insectilian family. Big up to our Mantis family. Big up to our Bigfoot Sasquatch family. What up, Barry Littleton? Where's Barry? That's his. He loves the topic on Sasquatch. He has a connection to the Native American line. Big up to our family from the fairy realms, connected to the fairies. Big up to our family connected to the aquatics, the Mer family. Big up to the family that is coming from A, B, or C. Big up to our family that are connected to the Anunnaki, of course, the Nigga Serpent line. Big up to our family coming from the Blue Avians. Big up to the Star family. Big up to the family that's just representing the highly activated macabre. What up, family? This is FleurBrun After Dark. So like I've given you a warning, you must... Hungary is in the house. Big up. The Vikings are in the house. Elementals. Big up to them elementals. So listen, family. We're going to get into a CD conversation. So I suggest that you put all the little people outside of the room. Put them to bed. Tell them it's night time. So it's time for FleurBrun After Dark, and we are going to have a conversation. So listen, I'm going to call in, take a moment, go get some snacks, chill out. If you're about to get ready to go to bed, this might be some sultry conversation that might put you to sleep nicely. So I'm going to key into our line. Our number is 515-605-9881. Again, 515-605-9881. Let me call in my line so we can get it on and popping. And then we'll start our show.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key. I'm sorry, but I did not hear you press at least 4 digits of your PIN number. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
It disconnected me. Hold on, family. Let me get my host pin again. It just disconnected me. That's crazy. You see how they play? You see how they play me when I'm trying to call in my line? Let me make sure I have my number correct. Yeah, I've got my number correct. All right. Let me call in again, family. They're trying to make sure we don't have these conversations because it's already been. They probably already know what we're going to talk about.
Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key. I'm sorry, but I did not hear you press at least 4 digits of your PIN number. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
They keep hanging up on me, family. This is classic. Listen, I'm going to call, can't stop, won't stop. They keep doing this to deter the show tonight, but it's going to happen regardless, even if I have to call in on my own personal number. Hold on, family.
Connecting you now.
Okay, family, we're in. Hold on. Let me get everything connected.
Your show will go live in 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Big up, family. Welcome to Aquarius Rising Ninth Gate. For those checking in just on Blog Talk now, we are starting a preamp show that may be every other Tuesday called FleurBrun After Dark, where we get into really piloted conversation about sexuality, aspects of tantra, things that would be more denoted to maybe pheromone harmonics, things that are sexually piloted and maybe tabooed. This may be a show that we do every 2 weeks, depending on how it goes. And even my mate is out of town now and he's calling. It's typical as soon as we start to talk about sex. So listen, family, I'm going to check in the queue. You know the number, you know what to do. 515-605-9881. Please call in tonight. Check in early. Thank you, KDG. Get the number in. Call in. This is an open mic tonight. So as you know, we are going to have phone calls coming in, people talking about pretty, hopefully explicit things, so that we can connect the bloodlines and how having sexuality and sex with certain bloodlines may depreciate you or actually make you masterfully much more powerful. So we'll get into that tonight. We'll get into the blood types, what blood types you should have sex with, and those that you should avoid. We'll talk about speciesism, and we'll talk about some of the contactees and ETs actually implanting themselves in your genealogy and you giving birth to children that are not from this world. So we'll get into all aspects of sex tonight. So again, this is FleurBrun After Dark. Check on in. We have a lot of people checked in tonight. So let me get my studio open. You know the number. You know what to do. Press 1 if you have a question. Oh, we already have, the queue is getting full already. So 515-605-9881. I suggest you call in early because the queue is getting full. Press 1 if you have a question. Let me respond to my mate so he doesn't think I'm having masterful sex without him. So I do have to reassure the person that I do mate with. Hold on, family. Okay. I know I have some loyalty. Okay, so listen. Hold on. Okay, family, let's kick off the show. So listen, generally, earlier I did a wonderful show with some masterful, wonderful young ladies from Denmark. Big up to them. I should have I actually shared the link to their blog talk. Really wonderful. Talk about women's rights. and a host of other topics. I really think they're great. I would love to do their show again. Just a wonderful energy, just like being with girlfriends. That being said, let me just make sure I open up my queue. Okay, I see everyone's calling in now. Wow, we've got a lot of calls. Okay, so listen, again, 515-605-9881. We're going to get into sex and bloodline. So listen, family, I discussed blood types. And, I'm not drinking punch. In French, we call this punch. I'm going to teach you guys French, even if you don't want to know French. Punch. We call this punch. I'm not drinking punch. This is a wonderful tea, soursop tea that I make infused with also some, what is the other stuff I use? I use another herb. Baby on the brain, because I'm about to talk about sex. I kind of lose some oxygen going to my brain and it's going to other area. I'm joking. So, I drink this tea. It's a wonderful tea. And, as I'm going, moringa, thank you. You guys know me, so no. Thank you. Alicia knows me. Thank you. Remember the moringa, my soursop. I do this. It's wonderful antifungal. Also, it's an anti-carcinogen. It's a bomb.com. My sister-in-law has a wonderful soursop tree. She gave me fresh leaves and I made this wonderful tea with lime juice and a little bit of maple cane sugar. So I have this here, and then I got some hummus and some celery ready for later when we get in our really good conversation. I've got the red light working in the back because we're going all kinds of root chakra tonight. So let's get it on and popping. So family, so we talked about sex and sexuality when it comes to blood types, and what I discussed earlier is the different blood groups from A, B, and O's, the OGs, which I like to call the OGs, which are the heirlooms of the bloodlines, meaning that along the lines of negative roots and positive roots, you have different types of bloodlines that are subsidiaries of the actual hub bloodlines, which are the O's. Whether it's O negative or O positive, those are the hubs, and anything that falls alongst the underside of that would be considered the subsidiaries of those bloodlines. For that reason, I always talk about, you go in a sync of quality and quantity of genealogy. And when we talk about how much access you have to the gene pool, we start getting conversations with, that you have a great plethora of genes to pull from as an OG because you're an heirloom, meaning that you have more of the quality of your genes in placement. So you can pull from all types of different genealogy in your bloodlines, in your ancestry pool, as opposed to once you start going into the other subsidiaries like an AB. Then you go to an A and a B, which are much more obscure. And also you have to be careful with certain abnormalities that may show up in those bloodlines based on the fact that they don't have a great amount of genetic pool to pull from when procreating, creating life, a baby. So that being said, we talked about sex. So as I spoke about earlier, I always am a proponent that before you have sex, masterful sex, which I am, you should not be engaging in sex if it's not going to be good. As you know, if women, and I talk to my young sea stars because, I am seasoned, and knowing and growing into a woman, you should always engage with sex with the expectation of having orgasm or organ energy. And as you know, we'll get into aspects of magic and how you can manifest things with your orgasm, and especially if you're able to achieve orgasm with your partner simultaneously, which takes practice, but once you do it, it's something that you can never ever mimic with anyone else unless you make that effort to do it again. So, for many of our young sea stars, I talk to you, our gentlemen, you get it. The point of you actually going in the gate is to have an orgasm. And what's beautiful about your organ, your masterful magic wand, your scepter, is that you automatically have wonderful receptors at the end, the tip of your penis. And if you're not circumcised, you are highly much more sensitive. And because of that, you will always try to achieve orgasm unless, of course, you're on medication or you have some sort of health issue that would keep you from being able to have an orgasm in a healthy way. Or if you're obviously inebriated, high all the time, people who do a lot of drugs or alcohol probably have the most issues as far as, especially males, being able to achieve orgasm properly. Hold on. Let me burn I feel some energies of some creatures trying to incept on this. I feel someone trying to incept on our conversation here. So, I have to mute some of these energies. Hold on. Start getting into it. When you have, and they stopped my lighter. I have an old-fashioned lighter that someone gave me. but can't stop, won't stop. Let me use my manifestation skills to make this lighter work. Cut him with the sword. Cut him with the sword, my occultists. They are really working their deed. You dastardly beings, you. I know I'm doing flickering. Don't get scared. Oh, this is not an incense that's normal. This is something to help to mute some of the energies tonight. But I see that we may have some issues. So hold on. You know, I won't stop. So you're going to have to wait a minute, okay? So let me go get my stuff and I'll be right back. Okay, fair. Listen, if I have to clear something out, you know I'm gonna do it, right? And you know, some of you demons who would like to be on here listening to my naughty conversations, I have a little incense for you, and I have a little ricochet for you later when you go to sleep. So if you come on here and you're naughty and you're not nice, you will have nightmares for at least 2 weeks, and you will have to apologize to me publicly for me to make it stop. There you go. So anyway. Anyway, family, so let me just clear the energies here. All right, we're going to get a seedy conversation. So obviously we're going to get some wonderful, interesting conversation. Anyway, so when you're having masterful sex, you should always, and I talk to my sea stars because obviously my young sea stars are getting out the gate. Many of their mothers do not have the information. Some of the moms are very Christianized, very religion based, and they're not teaching their daughters how to engage into sexuality and come into sexuality with a sense of, you know, advantage, giving them information that would be helpful to them, not only for the health of their bodies and for the quality of their children later, but for the fact of the matter is not teaching their daughters how to have a masterful orgasm and to utilize the organ energy. And this is why witches, quote unquote witches, women that were not witches but were actually you said don't give them nightmares. I'm not the one who gives them nightmares. That's just what they get for messing with me. You know, when you come to a platform of our type of beings to our quality and quantity, you should be mindful of how you engage. There's a being on here right now that was having venomous thoughts. You can feel the thoughts. So we just have to, you know, again, that's their issue. If they decide to come here and they decide to be naughty in conversation or in thoughts, they deserve whatever they get. So I don't have to withhold from doing anything. This is not their neighborhood. They should go to their own neighborhood if they're not happy with the conversation. Okay, so anyway, so like I said, mothers, mothers are not showing their young sea stars how to properly achieve an orgasm. And it's not perverted for a mother to share what she's learned or she's invested. The problem is a lot of mothers can't teach what they don't know. So this is why we're going to have the show today. So my sea stars can walk into sexuality and have much more of an advantage, so that they're no longer getting taken advantage of sexually. They're no longer being vampired off, you know, parasited off. They will be able to field off of the male's energy as well, and be able to masterfully be able to learn his chakra points, so that she can have full advantage of a beautiful organ energy, and also a pull from a little bit to be able to source that energy to manifest things into fruition. So anyway, family. Sex is the topic. We're going to talk about naughty sex, tantric sex. obviously we're not going to give too much because we want a lot to have more conversations every Tuesday. So this is the top of the conversation that's going to be very interesting tonight. And there's certain things I cannot share based on the fact that there's too much information. I don't want my sea stars totally taking full advantage of our males, because women have an advantage, whether they know it or not. They have an advantage over males sexually and able to pull and sometimes take full mind control over him if they know what they're doing. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure there's only a balance. That's on a private that's on a private network. Anyway, so let's talk about the phallus, the beautiful, masterful magic wand, the scepter, the chakra points of the penis. You know, many of us as sea stars have some apprehension when dealing with a man's phallus. The problem is that whereas before we had much more access to seeing phalluses being displayed so readily, especially in the States, they don't much read. Eric is already going out the gate. We used to see penises all over society. We still do in a lot of the wonderful museums, but because the penis has been, the phallus, the beautiful master wand, the magic wand, the scepter, has been really, really tabooed. What's happening now is that women have no access to visuals as much as they did previously. Now, for those of us who are more seasoned, we can remember a time when we would watch movies and we could occasionally see a man's penis, whether it was flaccid. Flaccid just means it wasn't hard, or we could see him semi-erect, or sometimes, if you were lucky, you can see him fully enthralled and fully hard. Generally, in movies, they would just do a flash of that and you would see that. Also, previous in movies, in maybe the 80s and 90s, more so the 80s, 70s, you would allow to see a woman's beautiful yoni in natural form, meaning not shaved, not waxed, but natural as she would be in nature. So these are images that have been taken out of our perception, and they've been tabooed to a large degree. And also, we have some alterations that have been occurring with people's genitalia based on the fact that we have a pedophile, we have more of a pedophile promoted world. We have a world that's promoting more of males having sex with young children. So they're making females mimic body types and type of grooming that would make women look more like little girls or little boys. And that is with the shaving, obviously, and the waxing of the yoni space. Now, believe me, I will not judge you based on that, but part of that is a part of the pedophile agenda, that they are promoting this, and it is quite unnatural. It was very natural for a man, actually, with pheromones. That's where we're going to get into pheromones tonight. The hair on a woman's vagina, her yoni, her fufun, we say fufun, some of the Haitian know that, fufun, her punny, Jamaicans say punny, her, what do you call it, her bag, her pocketbook, her snatch, whatever you call it. Many of you call it many different things. What's happened now is that what you don't realize is by removing the hair off of that personal space, you are also disallowing for pheromone connection and harmonics. Meaning that by taking off the bush, the beaver, whatever you call it, by cutting that and waxing that, you no longer have the power of paralysis that you used to have over males. Males used to really, really, the hormones used to drive them crazy mentally. Our hormones are meant for us to, especially pheromones, are meant to intrigue men. It's to allure men. It's to attract men. And once we take the hair off of our yoni space, we are detaching ourselves from that connection that we would naturally normally have with males as far as attraction on a very primal, innate base. So for that reason, it's very important that women understand that during times when you have males and you are engaged with a male, especially personally for a long period of time, in order to keep a highest sense of connection with him, he has to have a connection to you on a biochemical level, pheromonically. meaning that if you keep hair there and under your arms and other places where you are highly pheromonic. Now, women of color have the most melanated people on the planet have the highest amount of pheromones. But if you notice that they are the ones that are most promoted to straighten their hair, to kill off their hair, and to shave off their hair. They're demonized the most. But it's interesting that society does that to the one who has the most heightened amount of pheromones. Now, I don't have to make this up. If you go into the 70s and the 60s and you see all the women, especially women of color and European women who had really frizzy, froey hair, big up to the fros and the afros and the dreadlocks. Back in the 60s and the 70s, you would see women displaying their fros and their afros and their natural hair. And during that feminist type of, flower power time, women didn't shave their underarms, nor did they mess with their yoni spaces. They pretty much were full on natural. They didn't even shave their legs. That's how natural they were at that time. If you notice that most women, especially, let's go back to someone like Foxy Brown, every man desired Foxy Brown, whether he was lunar, whether he was chocolate, whether he was Middle Eastern, whether he was Mexicano. He desired that highly melanated woman with her natural hair. Why? Is because women of color are the most pheromonic, because they have the original gene pool of the indigenous on the planet. It would make sense that she has an undisturbed pheromonic harmonic with all others, because most others come from that original zygote, which is that highly melanated female. And that is why the advertisements and the promotion of killing off her pheromones by cutting off her hair, putting weaves of other nationalities of other women in her hair, cuts off the connection of her from males, and it makes her less appealing to other males based on the fact that she's killing off her pheromones. That being said, females, just like I go to my lunar family, who have long hair and usually don't, those who are more natural and leave it undisturbed and sometimes even have more of a vegan base, you will notice that even in society, because they're living naturally, they're not doing anything extra with their hair, they're living as nature produced them as lunars. If you notice, the more undisturbed they are pheromonically, the more men are allured to them, whether it's lunars, whether it's Africano men, whether it's Mexican men. Men are very allured by women in their natural state of being who have undisturbed pheromones. Pheromones matter. Some people say lives matter. Pheromones matter. Let me take a drink. So it's just like we talk about bloodlines and blood types. It is just as notable that we discuss the times where we discuss pheromones in link to the biochemical field of people from all different nationalities. Okay, so when one has mastered their nature and allowed it to field it together with wisdom and knowledge in a technology advanced realm, you will notice that you'll be able to have better interconnections with your mates, and also you'll allure more mates that are more in sync with your genetics, meaning that you'll attract more males in your genetics. I had a conversation, and this is a little off bar. I had a conversation with a young lady, beautiful. She was a model in Manhattan, big up to the models in Manhattan. I hung out with a lot of people from different things, beautiful. She was originally from, where was she from? Nairobi. I think she was from Nairobi. Don't quote me. I think she was from Nairobi. Beautiful. She was about 6'1". She's stunning, chocolate skin. Her skin was flawless, untouched, unfettered. Her hair was, a more coil type thing. So whenever she would get calls, whenever she would get her calls, she would always have people putting weaves in her hair or wigs in her hair, what have you. And what she noticed is that every time she did that, it messed with her scent. She was from Africa, and she was very self-aware. She was very sensitive to smells and everything. She noticed that every time she got a weave, it smelled differently. It actually leached into her skin. So if she had a weave of whatever nationality that hair came from, most of these weaves were from other beings like European, not so much Europeans, but mostly women from Malaysia, or from parts of India, her scent, her actual scent would change and not be and actually smell foreign to her. And other males, specifically from some of these other complexion or races, quote unquote races, would be more allured by her, and her pheromones matched those of those indigenous women from that hair that she was wearing. Now, what is interesting is that women of color in the States are wearing the most amount of weaves, actually masking their pheromones. And what they're not realizing is that they're actually training their little boys to be attracted to women that look differently than them. So what happens is that if you are consistently wearing weaves of hair that is not from your same genetics, so to speak, and you're wearing that consistently, your scent has changed. You've also made your child acclimated to the scent of another female from another nationality. And then you wonder why certain brown males are more attracted to women of other complexions, is because you've conditioned them through pheromonic introduction to be attracted to beings that are of a different quote unquote nationality, based on the fact that you've acclimated. It's just like acclimating a child to the taste of an apple or a taste of a fruit. If you do that over a consistent amount of time, especially when they're young and babies and you're wearing weaves around them, and you're a supposedly brown woman, and you're wearing weaves of women that are from Malaysia, then your son may grow up to only be attracted to women who have that pheromonic harmonics, because you've conditioned him and changed him sociologically and pheromonically to be attracted to those who are different than you. So I always tell mothers, this is wonderful with you have someone who's worked in science, because I come from a certain background where it allows me to see things from a different point of view. So it's very important, mothers, it's very important, mothers, that you are mindful of everything that you do, especially if you are having children. Children mimic not what we say, it's actually what we do. So if a woman is also, with lunars, you have to be very mindful of the type of creams that you're putting on your body. I know my lunar friends, will go to Bloomingdale's or some of the high price stores, Saks and Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, and many of the creams that you put on your body. If you don't read the ingredients, you don't know it. And this is just, walking in the realm of different beings. Me and my lunar girlfriends will go, and the creams have pheromones of bugs, certain bugs, and also with certain animals. And what happens is that when you start putting, your skin is the largest organ on you, and when you're putting pheromones of other types of things, they purposefully do this. And also they put pheromones to make you more alluring to other species of ETs that are coexisting here, cloaking themselves. So now you match the pheromonic and the chemistry of beings that are actually here that you didn't know. So it actually makes you more susceptible to mating with beings that are absolutely a different species. It acclimates you to their scent, where normally you would not be attracted to them, because even if they're cloaking. If a being is cloaking itself, it does not have the same pheromones, no matter what. So what they have to do is they have to slowly acclimate you and condition you to get used to that pheromone scent and feel, and that makes it easier for you to mate with a reptilian that's been cloaking itself, or someone who's a hybrid, based on the fact that they've acclimated you to certain certain insectoid type of beings as well, insectilians. So if you smell certain beings, each person of a different complexion, a heightened amount of melanin will give you a certain scent. That's why you meet people who have very strong, beautiful chocolate skin. They smell differently when they're sweating, and their oils, their scent is different based on biochemistry, and also food. Food affects that. But also when you have lunars who are very, very fair and lighter in pigmentation, lighter in eyes, they have a totally different scent. Normally, those beings would not match in pheromone harmonics, based on the fact that they're so biochemically different. So what allows those beings to interact with one another sexually, or even to mate, is the altering of pheromones in lotions, conditioners, hair products, a host of different things, tanning sprays. It makes you more more adapted to the scent of the others, so that you'll mate properly. And if you didn't know that you were being bioengineered and being totally conditioned to being able to, just like cows are bred, just like animals are bred, they bred people to mate with certain type of people or certain type of beings so that it's easier to hybrid without hybriding basis, a more invasive process of taking you, abducting you. They don't really have to do that anymore. They just have to change your pheromones. I know I'm going all into science. So I hope I'm giving you a little bit of extra knowledge about this. So anyway, we're talking about the phallus, right? So, you know what? Let's get, I don't want to give you all the tea, right? So, FleurBrun has a lot of knowledge. I've learned a lot. I've researched a lot, and I hang out with really, really smart intellectual people that have done clinical studies from every different country, many different countries. I shouldn't say every simple country. So for a reason. Oh, shea butter. Okay, so I see people putting out things like black soap and shea butter. Now, be careful, family. This is something that's going to be a shocker. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you raw. Not like sex, but I'm going to give it to you raw. Be mindful that not all creams, not all things are for all people. I know a girl who is melanin dominant, beautiful skin, who breaks out from shea butter. I know a person who's melanated, who's highly melanated, who breaks out from copper. I know a melanated woman from the Caribbean who's allergic to coconut oil. So be mindful, family. Please do your own body talk. We call it body talk, where you understand that not everything is for everyone. So I never will I'll give you things that may help different people, but you have to be very mindful that if they're promoting something publicly, you have to be careful of why they're doing it, because they know certain beings and certain species of beings have allergies that will end up giving them health issues later on in life. Why? Is because coconut oil, I can't put coconut oil on my skin. Why? Especially if it's not cold pressed. Coconut oil has been changed and it's been altered and it's been genetically modified. The coconut that had usually been utilized, and I think only the original coconuts we see, I think in Philippines, Vietnam, parts of Jamaica, I think more so in the countryside. Who else has the original coconut? There's certain places where there's definitely the heirloom coconut that's not been genetically modified. There's also bananas that have not been genetically modified. So for that reason, you have to be careful using coconut oils. I break out from coconut. I can't put coconut on my skin. You say, well, you're Caribbean women, right? You're island, but not everything is natural anymore. Even if it says that it's totally organic, or obviously you want to get cold pressed, you have to be mindful of the type of coconut they're using. It could be organic, meaning there's no chemicals on it. Yeah, it could be cold pressed, so it's not processed as much, but do you know what type of coconut it is? So that's why you have different mangoes. There's mangoes that look differently. Some are small and orange and look a different shape, and others are big and round. That's different genetics. In that, I have a brother this is wonderful that I come from a family, and I have a brother who's a botanist. So for that reason, you have to be mindful that there are, even if something is considered organic, it may not have chemicals, but it might be genetically homogenized, meaning it's an original base. Same with bananas. Bananas used to have little black seeds in it. You don't see that anymore. They used to be smaller, like Chiquita bananas. They're not like that anymore. Okay, so a lot of people have allergies to bananas that are Caribbean people. A lot of people have allergies to mangoes. My little one has an allergy to mangoes. I'm an island person. Where'd that come from? It's because everything has been homogenized. So just be mindful that if you're not growing it and you don't have heirloom seeds, just like the OGs are heirlooms, that you got to be mindful that not everything is what it sees, and not everything, because you're of color, works for you. There are people of color that are allergic to shea butter based on the fact that some of them are not from the region of Africa where shea is more prevalent in certain places of Africa. I'm not even sure if it's indigenous to Africa. And a lot of indigenous brown people are actually from the Americas, where they did not come in contact with shea and a host of other coconut type of oils and things like that. So based on that, just because you look like a European, you may be allergic to things that someone in parts of Germany may do fine with, but you from Northern Italy have an allergy to something that someone who looks like you in Germany would normally eat every day and have no problem with. So it's very important to do body talk, especially sexually. If you kiss someone, another idea, there's people who have allergies to people. That's why I say be mindful of how you're being promoted, because there are actually people here who are allergic to other people, and it's happened to me. kissing a boy. I get rashes from people who have an adverse chemistry to me. I remember playing spin the bottle. Remember you guys play spin? I don't know. Maybe I'm a naughty girl. Maybe is my mother watching this? Anyone play spin the bottle? Remember when we played spin the bottle and you had to kill? I didn't say that. I'm sorry. That's Floridian slip. You had to kiss. You have to kiss a boy or do something weird. Okay, so back in the days when we did spin the bottle, sometimes you kiss boys or guys would kiss girls, right? And you would kiss someone. I noticed that there were males that if I kissed them, I would automatically break out in hives because he is adverse to me chemistry wise. So I remember back in the days, and generally that will happen with me, with boys that look a little different than me. So when I would kiss a boy that looked different than me, I would automatically break out with hives. That's my body's way of saying that's not appropriate. That's not a being that you should be messing with. That's my body's reaction telling me that's not right for you. Okay, when we start ignoring things like that, like if you're having sexual relationships with a guy and you automatically get a yeast infection, that's a sign that that being is not biochemically for you. And we ignore those things because they make things like monostat. They make things to heal the problem or to band-aid the problem, but you never know where the problem is stimulated from, is that you're messing with somebody who's not of the right genetics. You shouldn't be messing with them. That's why sometimes medicine and all these over-the-counter prescriptions or what have you, sometimes mask the real issue. Is we should be mindful of the type of beings that we're engaging with, especially on a sexual level. Okay, so let's get to phone lines because I could give you intel all day. I want to give you all the cookies because if you like the show, we'll do it every Tuesday, every 2 weeks. So let's get to some phone calls. Let's get to some CD conversation. Listen, if you're calling in, please keep it. Listen, this is a good show to be real. I won't tell them your name. If you want to shout out your name, that's your business. But this is a show really, I think we need to have these conversations. So for that reason, I want us to keep it real. And for that, I'll keep your anonymity. So I'm just going to call out your number and you share whatever you like sexually. What's happened to you? Have you had a problem with being with someone sexually and you felt like they changed your chemistry? Did you feel like they were vampiric? Did you feel like it was awesome? Like there was one guy of a totally different nationality and you had sex with him and everything in your body said yes? Okay, so just share. Okay, so let's get it in. We have phone call from 631-2196. You're on the line with FleurBrun. Peace. FleurBrun After Dark, 631-2196. Peace, family.
Hello?
Hello. Hi, C-Star.
Hello?
Peace.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Yeah. Hi, it's you, 631.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes, I am, Mama.
Hey.
Welcome to FleurBrun After Dark.
This is like the first time that I've ever gotten it, so that's why I'm shocked.
I love it. Don't be shocked. Obviously, you must have something wonderful to share for you to be the first one.
Well, I wanted to talk about because I saw your video this morning and I wanted to talk about blood.
Yes.
And the whole mixing and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, it's Kay.
Hi, Kay.
Basically, my boyfriend his blood type is B, and my blood is O, and he's the first person that I've ever lost my stuff to, because originally, I was a Christian and I believed that we should get married and then we should do it. But because I started to become more aware of stuff and I kind of broke out of the whole Christianity thing. Okay. And I'm with him, so it just happened. So now, I don't know if I'm making the right decision by being with him because he's a B, but we have kind of our future plans. I don't know.
Are you? Yeah. Is he a B plus? Are you a B positive? What is his? Is it negative or positive roost? What's his roost? Negative or positive?
What's his rate?
Yeah, is he negative? B negative or B positive?
He said that he's just a regular B. That's what he said. But he said that his mother is a O, so I'm guessing his father is a B.
Okay. So he's probably a B positive if he says that regular. Okay. Are you, and you're O positive?
Right.
Okay.
From my mother, both my parents are O.
Oh, so you come from the OGs. Why are you changing your roots?
Yeah,
So, can I ask you something? Can I ask you something personal?
yeah.
I promise I won't tell anyone, okay?
Okay.
So listen, the first time you had sex with him and he took your virginity, how did you feel afterwards?
At first, I was so shocked because, like, mentally in my mind, I still had that, like, Christian value.
Yes.
So, like, I was just so shocked, and I was just so upset because I was like, oh, my God, I promised I would never, like, want to lose it, whatever. But I don't know. He was there for me and comforted me, so I felt positive after a while because when I did it, I was just making sure, like, oh, my gosh, like, was this the right person for
Absolutely.
me? That's what I was making sure of.
I think that's good.
Not like that I just... Because my mother is very, like, she's very strong about stuff like that, and she doesn't really talk to me about it.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's healthy, though, your disposition, whether it's Christianized or not. I think it's healthy to be very, very cautious to sleep with anyone. And also, you know, especially and being your first time, you want to make sure that it's something special and it's something that's the person that you chose would at least be very sympathetic and empathetic to, you know, for that, and be loving to you afterwards and be around also.
Yeah. And I remember, like, it's so weird because I was in a relationship with someone before him and I had asked, and my mom had, and that person never, like, showed me to their family. So then, like, he was, like, the new guy, and my mom had said, I hope this is the last one. And then I go on a date with him, and he's like, well, I want you to be my last girlfriend. And then it happens. And then I'm just like, okay,
Aww.
like, is this, like, a sign, like, from the ancestors? Like, are they trying to tell me something? Because I never gave it up to anyone. I never gave myself up to anyone. I was very, very pretty strong until I met him.
Well, be mindful of the verb. Be mindful of the way you describe that. It's not giving up. It's giving to someone. It's not giving up. Sometimes we say we have certain words that we utilize that put us under a specific spell and put you in a certain vibration. Giving up means you're giving something away, and it's not so much that. You should always keep your mind saying, you know, we engaged in something, or we had sex. You know, make sure you're not stating things that make you seem like you're giving something to someone, because then it allows them, you know, energetically, subconsciously, to be able to vampire off of you. Be mindful. Vampires can't come in unless you give them permission. Just be mindful of your words. You know, I just share that with you. So what? How are you
learning?
Yes.
Huh?
How are you with him?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
How is everything with him?
Like the sex, or just in the relationship?
Well, sex. Let's talk about sex. How is the sex with him?
It's great.
Good.
So I'm still learning some stuff because I am very new at this. But the only thing is I don't have an orgasm. I was close to it one time, but, like, I never had, like, but he tries to do it, but it just never happens.
Okay, so you're having a problem getting an orgasm. What might help you is, you know, sometimes with women, everything is in our mind. Everything's in our mind. Actually, you can have a quicker orgasm from the thought of having the orgasm previous to the sex. Actually, sex doesn't always do it for women. It's the thoughts that go with it. It's the seduction. Sometimes it's the feeling of openness. And because you're quite, you know, you're new to this, you might have to lower your field of, just lower your guards. And what would help you do that is, you know, this is why a lot of people are alcoholics or drink and smoke weed, which I would never encourage. But what I would say to you is what you should do previous to having sex with him is make yourself really, really tired. Meaning that if you work out, are you a woman of color? You're a woman of color?
Yes.
Okay. I have to ask that
I am.
because it's for for people of color. I always encourage you for having sex during the daytime hours because you, first of all, if a child comes from that, you'll have more masterful children, and it's healthier. We and our ancestors generally had sex in the daytime, and you'll have better orgasms if you have sex in the day, which is great if he wakes up in the morning with you. That's actually the first time he wakes up. He usually wakes up at command. Most healthy men wake up with a wonderful, wonderful stiff phallus, a wonderful masterful wand ready to enter the Stargate and create all kinds of magic. So because of that, it's better for you as a woman of color to engage with him sexually in the daytime. And I have a feeling if you allow him, that's why I'm saying sleepy state. If you allow him, do you guys sleep over each other's houses and things like that?
My mother.
Oh, okay.
My mother is very strict, so she does not allow that. And the only time that we actually did was after I went to like the military ball. That was the only time because my parents allowed me to stay out late, but that was the only time. And I did take your advice. I did do it in the morning.
Okay.
I did try that, and it was great.
It's better.
In the morning.
Yes. What happens is that you'll be more likely to be able to achieve an orgasm if you're sleeping in his arms and you wake up with him. If a chance that you get a chance to go away together for a weekend, I will get almost guarantee, it depends on you, but I almost guarantee what it is that you have to let your guard down. And that's again why people do drugs and alcohol, is to let their guards down, makes them more permissible to do things they normally wouldn't do outright. This is the same for someone who's just holding on a little angst because they're just nervous. They're not comfortable quite yet, just letting go of everything. But when you wake up in the morning and you're still sleepy, or he wakes you up with his masterful wand, don't sleep with panties. Like Annie has no panties. You heard my opening song. Annie has no panties. I'm a French woman. Don't wear panties at night. It's not good for your yoni anyway. You sleep at night. You go wake up in his arms. He will automatically have what's necessary to do the deed. He'll wake up. Generally, men love to touch you. He'll actually do more foreplay in the morning because he's trying to wake you up. And it will make you more excited. And for the fact that you're a little lower, you're kind of just woken up, you won't be so guarded. And it'll be easier for you to have an orgasm. He'll touch you a little bit. Make sure that you allow for him to do the things and, give him cues. If he's touching you in a place that you don't like, say, don't be afraid. He doesn't know you, you know you. Okay. So some men like to touch your butt and you don't like your buttocks being touched. So you say, Or if he likes to touch a certain part of your clit. Or if you don't like him to put your finger inside of you, but you like him to touch your clit, you let him know like, oh yes, when he touches your clit, let him know that feels really, really good. It just depends on you. And when he does it, just allow that feeling to be relaxed and let him bring you to climax, at least before he puts his penis in you, because it will allow you to remember how comfortable you were and what state and how tense your body was, what feelings you had previous to the orgasm. It'll allow you to remember that so that you can train yourself to have an orgasm when he's actually penetrating you. That takes training. Okay?
Right.
So have you had an orgasm ever? Have you you masturbate, right?
When I do it to myself,
yes,
it happens all the time.
Good.
But with him, it's like,
okay. You know your body, so you actually know how to bring yourself to an orgasm, which is wonderful. I think that's beautiful. That's a beautiful quality that you know how to bring yourself to orgasm. So you know how you touch yourself. That's why I tell women, make love to yourself first, and then you can teach someone else how to do it with you. So, if you like to touch something on your body, if you like to play with yourself in a certain way, if you have to be in a certain position, some women like their legs being really, really tight straight, some like their legs being up. You have to remember these things when he's touching you. So when he starts to wake up in the morning, his masterful wand is ready, willing and able, and he starts to touch you down there, position your body as if it's you. Envision yourself masturbating with yourself. And as you do that, try to leave judgment out because he loves you. He's there with you. He's there. He's in it to win it. and he wants to have an orgasm, as you should want to have one. Every time he has sex with you, he's guaranteeing that he's going to have an organ energy explosion, and you should always have the same expectation. You have to show him that love. So have sex. I say you guys get away. Tell your parents you're going on a church retreat. Don't lie. Go. Bring them with you. Don't lie. Listen, I'm not an advocate to lying to parents. I love forthcoming with parents. But go to a church retreat, pray all day, and have sex all morning. How about that? And bring them with you in the room. I think you can meet the best of both worlds.
I would like to.
Why not? Why not? And
I'm sorry, what?
And why not do that? And don't mind that he's a B. It's a B positive. Enjoy. I just suggest you're young right now. Enjoy the sex. Enjoy the company. Enjoy somebody who really enjoys being with you. He apparently likes you a lot. I don't want, as far as...
I mean, he wants to... I'm sorry, what?
What does he want to do?
Hello?
Yes, what does he want to do?
Oh, he's actually... He wants to get married. He's on that level of thinking. Like, he says that when he dates women, he doesn't see them as, like, just a person that he dates for the time, and then he just leaves and he finds someone else. He usually just dates a person that he can see in his future. So it's just like...
He has a good disposition.
I don't know.
He has a good disposition. Huh? He has a good disposition, but that has nothing to do with you. How he feels has nothing to do with you. It's how you feel. If that's you like him liking you like that, it could be flattering, but it may not be, you may not reciprocate that same feeling. I think you need a little bit more seasoning.
I have the same.
Yeah.
A little more.
I think you need a little more seasoning. I do.
Mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say so. I mean, I'm still young. At the same, I don't know.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your company. Enjoy a man who really adores you and loves you and is in it to win it. Try to master yourself. And then you can kind of look into if this is someone you would like to be with long term. What I suggest is, how old are you? Oh, they're asking how old. Can I ask you that question? How old are you?
I was like 20.
Okay, that's appropriate. Okay.
21.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You're having sex. Okay.
Yeah.
Just, be mindful, again, to always protect yourself. And, I'm not a fan of condoms because it cuts off the electromagnetic field. That's why I always encourage people to know blood types in case a child comes from this. And it sounds like this is somebody you don't necessarily want to get pregnant with because he'll make you have the baby, which I think is okay. And you should be okay with having a child if it comes from the two of you. He would encourage that. And be mindful that, if you want to continue this, I'm not going to discourage you because it's a B. It's just in the future, if this is not your permanent mate, I would, especially your parents did the same thing. I would just encourage you to be with someone who's an O previously and find out before you get involved with them. So that, because B's are okay, but he will get way more from you than you will from him, energetic wise.
Right.
Okay. So I hope it was helpful.
Thank you.
Okay. Have an orgasm, okay?
Yeah, that was very helpful.
Good. Have an orgasm, and not just with yourself, with him. But I tell you, do the church retreat. Don't lie to your parents. Say, I'm going to a church retreat. Pick one far away so you have to stay overnight. Don't tell him he's coming, but bring him with you.
They don't go to church anymore.
Oh, they don't go to church?
They don't go to...
Oh.
No, what happened is we had like this whole awakening. The whole house had a whole awakening.
Oh, I love it.
We just moved away from all of that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they're
we
still...
are very aware in this house.
But they're a little strict still. So you might have to say that you're going on a church retreat.
Yeah.
Because that would be the only place that they would let you go anyway, even if they're not into Christianity.
Well, my birthday is coming up, so I could do that.
Okay. I suggest you do it.
Yeah.
And remember what I said, make sure that you have, in order to have orgasms, you need to be more comfortable. You need to feel more free. Your blockers should be down. So in order to do that, sleep state does give the same fake feeling that smoking weed and alcohol does for some people to bring down that level of anxiety to be able to achieve an orgasm. But again,
Well,
you know how you come.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm an Aquarius, and I think a lot, like, I think really deeply.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are engaging in that, I do think I'm always thinking all the time. So I don't know if that's the reason why it's blocking off, because I'm thinking so deeply about stuff.
That's a problem.
Like,
yeah.
So I don't know if that could be the reason.
Your air sign. What you should do is, it's going to seem a little freaky what I say to you, but you know who I am already. If you've listened to me, nothing should shock you. Okay?
Yeah.
But wait, I have to laugh first.
I'm also shocked, but this is very interesting.
Okay, listen. I'm Creole. Listen, big up to all the Creole French women. This is why men like to have long-term relationships with us.
Me too.
It's beautiful.
Me too.
You are too as well, so this would be fine. Add next to your bedstand, I would ask that you have either a banana. What fruit do you like? Do you like grapefruit? Do you like citrus fruit? Do you like any of those things?
I love mango.
I
love mango.
Oh, me too. Oh, you Creole. Oh my God, that's very sexual. Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's perfect. That's perfect for what I'm going to tell you to do. So he's going to think it's a little weird, but it might turn him on because it's a little freaky. And I'm not going to tell you if I've done it before.
Oh, he's a Scorpio.
Oh, so he's already in freak mode. Oh, he's a freak by nature. Okay. Scorpios love sex, and they're in sex mode all the time. Okay. So as he's waking you up, the night before, I want you to put a mango next to your bed. Not peeled, just already intact. When he starts to touch you and you're getting turned on, I want you to take the mango. I know it's going to freak you out. And take the skin off with your teeth, spit it out wherever. You can clean it up afterwards and eat the mango while he's trying to make you come. It's going to help you to come.
Oh, okay. I never thought of that. Is it supposed to be like an orgasm both ways, like in your mouth and down there?
It's both. It's euphoric. And what it is that the taste buds in your mouth, as you're getting allured with each, because mangoes are your thing, just like mine. Mangoes are very sexual too. Right. Certain citrus, as I said, what citrus do you like? Mangoes are very sexual. So as you're putting in your mouth, it kind of throws you off a little bit because it distracts you from thinking. So by putting something in your mouth, if it's not his penis, some women don't get turned on by penises like that. But if it's a mango, that yummy taste, make sure it's the prettiest mango. Make sure that you pick the best one. You know how mangoes are sweet. You know how you like it. Put this mango in your mouth. As soon as he starts to touch you, if he starts to touch your yoni, he touches your clit, put the mango and just start biting pieces of it and spitting it out. Let him see you do that, like an animal a little bit, but sexy. Don't look so primal. And do it and eat the mango and close your eyes while you're eating the mango while he's trying to make you come. I guarantee it'll help. And you'll be more distracted so you won't have thoughts in your head.
Okay.
Okay.
I never thought of that, but I think it will work. Yes.
One Creole to another.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Mama. Thanks for joining us tonight. Tell me how, and I hope to get another phone call on a Tuesday that you had some masterful orgasms. And we'll talk about creating things with it. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much, Closer.
You're
Have
welcome.
a divine night.
Okay, same to you. Peace.
Thank you.
Do you guys like that one? Peace. Let's go on to our next caller. We're gonna go 631. Oh, someone likes that. My eyes are jumping. Anyway, let's go to 631-2196. You're on the line with FleurBrun After Dark. Peace, family. Peace. 631. Oh, sorry. Same person. Hold on. Okay. 908-1641. 908-1641. You're on FleurBrun After Dark. Peace, family.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
How are you? Oh, good. Thank you.
Are you nervous?
I just Yeah, a little bit.
Don't be.
Uh,
We're just talking
I
about sex.
I was just wondering, I posted something to the FleurBrun cipher on Facebook. I was wondering if you could take a look at it and connect that to, and give any like examples of species or like beings that this has happened to.
Wait, say that
Are
again.
you able to get?
Okay, what do you say? You said to look at cipher. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the? Is it a new post or is it an old post?
It's a new post and it's like a document.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah,
Macro
a
evolution.
little flaw.
Zygote.
Mhm.
Okay. You want me to open it up? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you're asking for my seasoned eyes to be able to read this? Okay. Okay. Short period. No, it's okay. Micro within a population species. Biological species component. Group of populations whose members home potential to interbreed and produce viable offspring. Okay. Okay, this looks like someone is doing sample populations. They're writing down how to alloporic specification, geographic barrier. Ooh, where'd you get this from? Did you post
Like
this?
I'm in school, and this is from my biology class.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
Small
So you see the second page where it has like the post-zygotic barrier.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Temporal isolation, behavioral isolation. Is this the page you're talking about? Mechanism isolation. Okay. Molecular chemical differences between species, egg, sperm. Okay. This looks like we're talking about homogenizing or hybriding. What are you discussing in biology? What is this concerning? Fertility. I see this. Hybrid fertility. Reduced hybrid fertility. Hybrids are viable, but they are sterile. That is true. They have low fertility, absolutely, often due to issues with meiosis. That's what I was talking about. Absolutely. Wonderful. I'm glad there's what you're in college, I'm assuming. This is college material. What stage in biology? This is not biology 1. This is not introduction to biology. This is heredity.
Yeah, it is.
It is? I learned this in heredity. Yeah. I learned this in my class in heredity. When we started getting into the, but this, okay, I see. Migration, chance, okay. Experiment over specification. So what are you doing? You're working with splicing and dicing? Forms of hybriding? Or you just?
No.
Okay.
This was just like a lecture, and then they would like test this on it.
I agree. And it goes into.
Yeah, but
what was your question based on this?
I was like, if there's any examples of beings that have gone through this, or if like two different beings mate, would this happen? What kind of two beings that would make
This is happening now. That's why you see people who have a high amount of fertility and some who don't. You see beings, a lot of people whose fertility are being very challenged. I wouldn't question. I don't just think it's the food and the environment. I personally think it's hybriding and hybridized people who are being hybrid without their knowledge, meaning that they're not able to reproduce. That's why there's certain groups of beings on this planet who can't reproduce. Their birth rate is almost at 0 right now because they're not natural. They're not biologically natural. Just like if you take chickens that have been homogenized, the chickens inside of the coops that have been stripped of all their natural, genetics, meaning that normal chickens you see out in the wild, they look a little reddish, brownish. They look different. The chickens in the coops and the fields are now red-eyed with white feathers. They're unnatural. They have a harder time. A lot of times they have to inseminate these chickens artificially to be able to have them reproduce or create eggs, even lay eggs, because they're not natural. So yes, if you hybridize anything, its fertility rate goes down. Now every time you hybridize a next group, so you have a homogenized being who's been genetically modified. Then you take the next generation of another of the copy of a homogenized gene. The field goes lower and lower. That's why you have such a high rate of infertility at the height of its stage right now in the Americas and also in Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe is having a problem. Also in Switzerland and Sweden, I believe they're having a problem with birth rates.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I didn't want to be like offensive when I say this because a lot of like all the women in my family, I know my dad's side of the family, so all the women there, like my aunts and even my grandma and some of my cousins, they like their first few pregnancies, they'll miscarry, like more than one.
Okay.
They'll have someone maybe even had 4 or 5 miscarriages, and I was wondering if that was having to do with like the RH and the RH negative.
It depends. What's your blood type? What's their blood type? What's their blood type? What's your blood type?
I'm not sure.
What's theirs?
I don't know. They live in Haiti.
Okay. Haiti has O negative. You already let me know. Haiti has, we just found that out. Big up to our Haitian family. Big up to our Haitian Sapase. To our Haitian family. I love my Haitian family on here. Listen, I just found out, big up to our O negative Rus connection of O negative in Haiti and also Dominican Republic. That lets me know that most likely you have these women who are negative Rus, who are having sex and mating with beings that are O negatives. Any negative Rus will kill, unless she gets a Rogaine shot, specific shot while she's pregnant, she will automatically kill the offspring of any positive. So it makes me think that it's not the women, something's wrong. It's something wrong with who these women are mating with. Most likely. I would have to know more about the genetics. I'd have to do a screening. I don't know that. Just off the top of the head, when you tell me you're from Haiti, I found out there's a connection with Haiti and O negative bloodlines. And then it lets me know that there are other beings that they're probably mating with. There's a lot more positives going on. They're probably mating with a positive. And the case of the matter is they're probably having sex with offspring that they cannot bring to fruition. They should find out blood types. This is where I have a problem with people and doctors not promoting people find out their blood types. Actually, they're making it more difficult now to find out your blood type than they did previously, when it was harder to get blood types. You should find out your blood type, okay? Number 1. And also see if you have any anything like lupus in your family, anything sickle cell anemia. You have to be careful with those things because that can also cause anything like that in the family. No.
No.
Okay. So for that reason, I could just make a presumption based on the fact that we're discussing this, that without any other criteria, that most likely they may be O negatives. They may be, and also they're having children with people who are positive Rus. It could be causing that. Could. But I don't know. There could be environmental factors. It could be genetic factors. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, last question.
Sure.
Someone was talking about like the natal chart and the week, what is it? Yeah, the Lilith.
The Lilith what?
So I don't know how to say it, but like the Lilith part of the natal chart, what would that, like how would that express in someone?
Well, that, Ja Vega is the master at astrology. That's not my cup of tea. So I wouldn't even get in deep into that because it's not something that I've invested time in or knowledge or have enough criteria to even discuss. But that's something that if you're not connected to Ja's page, I think he has an Astrologics page right now connected to Cypher. I would get down with that and ask that question via that page.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling.
All right.
Okay, peace.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Peace.
Okay, so for everyone calling, remember you call 515-605-9881. Again, 515-605-9881 if you want to discuss anything that has to do with sexuality, whether the dark, the dim, the interesting, the tabooed. We're getting into it on FleurBrun After Dark. So I'm taking my next caller. Next caller is, remember you're calling 515-605-9881. Next caller is 217-9369. You're on the line with FleurBrun After Dark. Peace, family. 217-9369. Ooh, it's loud. 217. 217. You're really loud. You're on the line, 217. 217-9369. 217. Hello. Hey, peace, C-Star. Hi. How are you?
I'm doing okay better than yesterday, so it's great. I just ask you a question
Yes,
about
yes.
like what's going on between me and my friend.
Okay.
Okay, so me and my friend, she's Caucasian and Haitian. We met. We were like in 6th grade. It was like, I don't know, it was like destined to be. It was like this vibe it was all like, it was really high. And it really like, it's the reason why the person I am today. But.
Wait, say that. Okay, wait, hold on. C-Star. Wait, C-Star. I'm sorry. C-Star. Hello. I don't think she can hear me. C-Star, you there? Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you're excited.
Yeah, I'm here.
I know. I can only hear you a little bit. Can you talk a little bit slower so I can hear what you're saying?
Okay, sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
I was the restroom.
That's okay.
Here. But yeah, it's me and my best friend going through a thing. I want to change it. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's because of this now, but it's been like 11 years, so I'm not ready to let that go. But I know there's always, bigger and better things. And I'm really going on to vibe because that's what we've always done is vibe, like really like vibe, like I don't know. We just like alienated like our friendship. It was like we've been in other lifetimes together.
Okay.
And and she feels the same way. Like we always talk about it. We talk about the universe, all that good stuff. We always talk about the things that we learn, and she's really like I would consider her conscious. Even though she is, it's like I don't know. She's with this male. This male is very. I consider him dangerous. He has a lot of power, and his vibe is like really. I guess I would say demonic. I don't know. He knows a lot of things, so he knows a lot of stuff about the universe, a little more than what I would know. I mean, I know it. It's scary because it keeps changing in ways, and I don't know how to feel about that.
Okay. Can I ask you?
It is a big thing. It is a big thing to me because that is like a part of my life, and I don't know. This is somebody that I know that I've been in other lifetimes with, like.
Okay. Let me ask you. Okay. Can I ask you a question? Hi, love. Are you having sex with your girlfriend? Is she your sexual partner?
No.
Oh.
No, and this is the thing about it, like people always assume that, but it's never been anything sexual. But this connection that we have has been like has made boyfriend jealous, like really.
Are you sexually? Are you
touchy feelings like that? It's just our connection. It's just our vibe, and people feel that vibe. Around us, so they assume that.
Are you sexually attracted to her?
I don't know. It's just that.
Are you sexually attracted to her?
No, I do say that No, I do claim my mom doesn't like that too. So I was just raised to like be against it, but I'm not. Now that I'm older, I'm not really against it. And neither is my parents. It's just that it's not something that I would do.
Okay.
And no, I do not necessarily know. I like who she is when she's being a good person, but I was
The call dropped. Okay. That's okay. For the young lady that called in, I didn't do that. The call actually dropped, and that might have been the Andromedans kind of doing something on their own. I'm serious. I apologize just for the young ladies calling. I wasn't quite sure what you were inquiring, and I apologize if you were not able to relay how you were feeling for me to be able to answer a question. But I'm going to move it on. Keep it moving. Okay? So again, for those calling in, remember you call 515-605-9881. Next caller is 760-9107. 760-9107. You're on the line with FleurBrun After Dark. Peace, family.
Peace, FleurBrun.
Peace.
This is Lisette.
Lisette, what's the que pasa, mama?
I just wanted to say hi to everyone and thank you for your time and all the shows you've been doing lately. We really appreciate them. But
that's our Lisette.
My question for tonight is about pheromones and if certain body oils and essential oils. Basically, my question is if any essential oil or any butter, such as shea butter, cocoa butter, or any other topical skin oil, such as avocado oil, sesame seed oil, or olive oil, if any of them alter our pheromones?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. I can say for sure that would be the case. Now, there are many things that may alter your pheromones based on your genetic makeup. Like if you're from, I know your family is mostly from Central America, correct? So if you have...
Mexico, yeah.
And Mexico. So mostly from that arena, which is more of the Incan bloodline, that indigenous bloodline from there, you have to be mindful, like things like olives may not do well with your ancestors. Olive oil is not something that necessarily, I know amongst the lines of certain Mexicano bloodlines, the olive is adverse to your biochemistry. And that being said, it could alter your pheromonic harmonics based on the fact that it is not something that your ancestors came in contact with. And in some cases, it can be quite lethal to your genetics based on, remember, Mexico is very big. And there's different bloodlines, and there's a lot of mixing also with the European sect that did conquer, the conquistadors that came there and conquered. So even though you have the indigenous bloodlines that are still there, you have a high concentration of European sect also mixed within those bloodlines. So the more indigenous you are, the more that you'll be anti to anything like olives. What's another thing that... some tomatoes is a little, causes problems with certain people from New Mexico and also Mexico on Tijuana. We've noticed that there's aversions to people with tomatoes. Again, it could. You would have to find that out. I would always do, whenever you think something like that, you can always go to testing and find out if you have allergies to specific oils. Now, the essential oils, again, not everything is for everyone. If there's an oil that is adverse to you on a genetic level, it will change your pheromones. It will change the harmonics with your pheromones. And it may cause antigens that may make mates be repelled by you or others be more allured, depending. So yes, it could alter it.
I've noticed that I'm very...
Oh, no, go ahead. No, go ahead, Lizette.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I've noticed that I'm very in tune with the floral scents, like the floral essential oils such as geranium, rose, sometimes lavender.
Good.
And obviously I didn't want to alter my pheromone harmonics if I was choosing to use those oils. of course, they're 100% natural, and
Of course.
they're always organic, but still,
Of course. If you use something like that, just know that it is altering because now you're putting plants, floral pheromones on you. And plants that people find most alluring is why people wear certain floral scents. So yes, it will change your pheromonics. It won't necessarily make it negative. I don't, depending on who's the recipient of that scent. It's all dependent on them. But it's I don't think to that degree. If it's something organic, it's an essential oil. Generally, for the most part, yes, it would alter it, especially if it's floral, because you're putting plant-based pheromones on you. But usually people utilize that for centuries, doing that to, allure certain partners or make their scent change in certain ways. I just say that don't put it on every day or trying to do it alternate when you put certain oils on you. Don't do it too often because you might change your own biochemistry by utilizing something too often, and you might cause more harm than good.
Okay, and my last question, thank you.
Yes.
For example, since I'm an O positive, my blood type is O positive.
Oh, you found out, Lisette. Yes, you're an OG. I knew you were, Lisette. I just knew you were. OG. Okay. I'm sorry, people.
What, it's okay. I get excited too. Would our ideal mates also be O positive or O negative, or what is the blood type for O positive?
You can carry a child. Yes, you can carry a child with O negative. You could. I don't know that it would affect you. I've mated with someone who's an O negative, and actually, I found that they actually gave me a lot of energy, which was interesting as O positive. I'd never had an engagement with someone who was O negative before. They've only been O positive, and there was one B. But I found that mating with an O negative, I did not have any adversity. I had zero adversity with that person. I actually gained some beautiful ebb and flow with that being. You can be with any O. You can give birth to an O negative healthy. Okay. Your womb could give birth to a negative roost, fine, without a shot. It's if you were the female that was O negative, I would have concern with you mating. I would prefer you stay alongst your lines of having a better quality child with O positive, because you kind of close out the possibility of having adverse birth defects and what have you that may come with having a negative roost just by pooling genetics that are foreign. Because remember, O negative is negatively from here. They're off-world blood. So your bloodline would have to pull. You would have to hope that whatever ancestor that they had was O positive is close enough that you don't start getting into obscurity when it's starting to pool in to try and find genetics to link up together to try to, create a baby. So I would say always try to stay within positive roosts, but O negative is not going to harm you. Okay. But stay with the OGs. You'll have a better product in love. You'll have better chemistry, and you guys will live a long life and have masterful sex. Yes.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Love you. Perfect.
Love you too. Goodbye.
Bye. Okay, that was Lisa. Okay, taking our next caller, 919-0755. You're on the line with FleurBrun After Dark. Peace, family.
Oh. Hi, FleurBrun. How are you?
Peace, family. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking to you.
I'm glad you're talking to me.
Do you know who this is?
I do not.
This is, I don't want to say it out loud, but I am the person that sent you the pictures the other week.
Oh, are you? I know who you are. Yes. Hi, C-Star. That's one of our own. You're one of our family.
Oh my God. I can't believe this.
Yes.
Oh my God, oh my God.
I'm excited to talk to you.
I can't believe this, I'm so excited.
Same likewise. So,
can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Can you hear me okay? Thank you.
Yes, I can.
Oh my God. I really just wanted to call in and just to say hello and just to have a little chit chat with you.
Absolutely. What's going on?
Okay, I have some questions for you.
Yes.
Oh my God, I have some things I just want to ask you. Okay, I am an O positive.
Good. Welcome to the OGs. Hey,
And
OG.
thank you. Okay, this is a good question. I was born with a heart condition, a congenital heart condition, and so I wanted to know: do you think that being an O positive really is what helped me to? Because they always said that, with me having the heart condition, they didn't know if I'd be able to have children. So my son is 24 years
Oh,
old
congratulations.
now.
That's
And
right.
to this day,
Can't stop, won't stop. Don't tell us
they
we
cannot.
can't do it. That's right. You did it. And they told you you couldn't. This is what I'm talking about. Go ahead, OG.
Right, exactly.
Go ahead, OG. Tell them.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Say it again.
I said, go ahead, OG. Whatever they say. They can't, like I said, they will tell you all kinds of things. Congenital heart disorder depends. It may have not been I don't know if did you have that upon birth? Were you like that in womb? Was that something you were born with?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, I was born with only one ventricle.
Okay. I understand.
Yeah, I was born with what they call a single ventricle.
Yes.
It's called a single ventricle pulmonary stenosis.
Okay.
With a transverse upgrade valve.
Aw.
So my valves in my heart across the opposite sides.
Okay.
And so they told me that I would never live to get grown, that I would never have kids or anything.
Aww.
And to this day, when I go to the hospital they cannot believe that I had a child.
That's
and my
beautiful.
son is 24 years old.
I love it. I love it. It's beautiful. It's a testament to who you are. And, also it's a testament that if you really desire anything, you can always achieve it no matter what. So that being said, if you were gun-ho on having a child, you were going to have a healthy child because that's what you perceive, that's what you conceive, that's what you were motivated to do, and also you manifested him. Congratulations. I think it's beautiful.
I did. Yes, I remember doing that. I remember all the things that people are talking about now with all this contacts and stuff like that. I went through a great awakening in the late 90s and the early 2000s, right when I turned 30.
Yes.
I didn't know what it was at the time. I had no clue. All the stuff people are talking about now, I remember going through that earlier, and I'm like, I didn't know that's what it was. I had no idea.
It's beautiful.
Now I'm listening to all this talk about people having contact and going through these. I went through that 10, 12 years ago and had no clue what it was.
Okay, there we go. Absolutely, it's beautiful. It's interesting that you're O positive, and you congenital heart that you had. Did your mother, do you have people in your family what is your mother's disposition? Does she drink, or is she O positive? What is your thing?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm adopted, and my mother adopted me when I was 6 weeks old.
Okay.
So I really don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Okay, because what I was trying to say is that generally, it's not always the case, but I've seen a connection that maybe your birth mother was she drank during her pregnancy, or she was doing something like a drug or something.
I did get a little when I turned 25. I found out a few things about her, and I think you're correct. I did get a whiff of that. She did used to drink. I did get a whiff of that.
Yeah.
But it was the 70s, you know. You know what I'm saying? So
they drank and smoked. Yeah, they drank. They
all
all did. Yeah, they did.
So,
She probably was in that stage. Why I say that is because I usually see a connection there with the congenital heart issues with babies being born and mothers. That's why I tell mothers, be careful. If you know that you're pregnant, you should cease everything, whether it's even pharmaceuticals, until you have the doctor verify that these won't harm the baby. It's very important because during that first stage of pregnancy, it does affect the baby, like yourself. And she probably didn't know. She was probably just doing what everybody else did.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, she
no,
didn't know.
By the time, I think she was probably, poor, and she had 2 more kids before me.
Oh, okay.
So, it was just, that's how it was. You know what I'm saying?
But she had a beautiful baby that ended up turning into a masterful woman who's very aware. So she did a good job. So she did what she was meant to do, was bring you forth in life. And I'm grateful for her for doing that.
Thank you. Yes, I am too. I ended up with, great parents and great family. So, I'm really thankful. Another thing that I wanted to ask you about is about God. Now, I'm 44. So the guys that I've talked to, I've noticed that the last person I talked to, or the guys before, I've noticed that they always want to come back.
Okay.
They always, no matter what, it could be years later, and they'll still try to come, and they'll always say, after the fact, wow, I wish I would have, just done right, or they always say that, you're just so alluring, or they just always try to just keep a connection with me.
Okay.
They always try to keep a connection. I don't know why.
Well, you should know why. You're a good person. You have a good heart. You have a good spirit. People know good things, especially when they go out in the world where there's a lot of bad things. So you're a good thing, and people, even if they make a poor decision to leave, they know a good thing, especially when they're exposed to things that are the opposition of you. It means you're a good person. Of course they would want to come back. I speak to you now. You're alluring. You're well-spoken. You're very meek. You have a sweet spirit. Any male who has left you would consider that to be a gem and foolishly leave. He would recognize that that's something that he lost. So he would come back. It's just a testament to you and your higher consciousness and your personality.
Thank you. And the last person I talked to, I think he was a little bit reptilian spirit.
Oh, yeah.
He was very jealous of me and my son because we're very close. And he carried this narcissistic spirit with me. And I did everything I could, everything for years to try to just make him think. But he was just so negative. And we did not mix sexually. We just did not mix. The chemistry was just, I didn't feel it. And I think he was very reptilian, very much so.
Could be.
He was older than me.
Okay.
And he carried a very negative spirit, very, very negative.
Well, usually older men are vampiric too. I always question a male who's dating a woman quite considerably younger, because older males generally, because it's against nature, who date younger women tend to be vampiric, meaning that they're trying to pull in that youthfulness in for themselves. It's generally the consensus. So more men would do it based on, So men who generally do that.
Because,
they're vampires.
Yeah, and it was, we did not mesh at all, at all.
Yeah.
I could just feel the negativity. One time I dreamed about snakes. I kept dreaming about snakes when I was with him.
Well, it could be, he could be part of the Nega serpent line. He could be a reptilian. If he has a disposition of being detached, a little more aggressive, lack of feeling, part of that reptilian sect, And not all reptilians are negative, and not snakes are negative. It's just, it could be who he is at his core. But I question his nature by means of, yes, Kamika's correct. Snakes mean enemy. Whenever you dream of snakes, it means enemy. That's true. That's a spiritual meaning behind dreaming of snakes. But I would question.
He did. He did a lot of stuff to try to hurt me on purpose.
It's horrific. And, this is why we as mothers and aunties and seasoned women need to teach our young sea stars to stay clear of men that are post 10 years. If a man is 10 years plus, even 8 years plus, there's nothing that he wants other than to absorb your youth and utilize it for himself, because he feels like he's failing and dying. And generally males who do that have a depreciative quality. They will only feed off of you. So I always tell, our sea stars, if you should stay away from those type of males.
That's exactly what he did. He did. Yeah, he was like 9 years older than me. That's exactly what he did.
There we go. Yeah. Any man, my Nazi right now, the Nazi that I kicked to the curb, my Nazi has his newer mate is, I think she's 20 years younger or something like that. It's obscene amount of numbers. And, I question the sanity and also the self-esteem of the young lady who would think it privy to date a man who's that age. number one. I question her sanity and her self-esteem. But I also know that this male is vampiric. I was with him for many years. He's a Nazi. And all he's doing is fielding off of her energy. He has nothing in common with her. All he wants to do is absorb her youth to try to sustain himself so he could be a Nazi for another 20 years.
That's exactly what he did. He just wanted to just that, because when we first met, he used to tell me, I can see a glow around you. I can see a halo around your head.
Wow.
He sucked all my energy. He sucked my energy.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
You got to stay away from them. And it's unfortunate because it's a lesson that maybe a spiritual lesson that you had to learn, so that maybe this conversation could be heard and it will teach someone. But, for our less seasoned sea stars, we have to tell them and share with them that any male who's 6+, I say 7, because just sometimes you get males that are a little young and they're within the same demographics. But I say 7+, if he's going in that age range above your age, especially when you're in your youthful stage of like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and he's that age, I would suggest that that he could be very reptilian-like, and he's most likely a vampire, a parasite. He's a parasite. See? And you learn that. It's a shame. It's a shame.
He was very, very much vampiric.
Yeah, and it's no male at that age should be attracted to somebody that young in age. We grow up in genres, so we grow up with certain type of music, certain kind of likes and movies we watch. If a male is exceeding your your age range as far as the things you like in the demographic of music and genre, it's a testament that he is an insecure male and he's vampiric. He's a parasite or a sociopath. Or a narcissistic, sociopathic reptilian. It could be all of them above.
Exactly.
But so avoid them, my young, beautiful sea stars. Avoid them. And handlers, thank you. Handlers, too. Avoid them all. Avoid them. Run for the hills. Run. And, most males like that tend to use their... Yeah, but mostly older males like that tend to use their... They tend to use their money as a way of controlling or getting these type of females. Because they'll throw the fact that,
that's what he did.
That's what they'll do. Yeah, they use money.
That's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did. You're so right.
It's a shame. It's a shame, but it is what it is.
That's exactly what he did. I have one question to ask you, and then I'm going to let you go, because I know you have other callers.
Okay.
Are you good with, I have my birthday. Are you good with numbers? Could you please just tell me what you think my birthday is?
I can try. Let's see unless you have something obscure. I'm not the numerologist of the year.
Okay. My birthday is all 10, so it's 3/7/1973. Because people always say, "Oh my God, your birthday is like 3/7/73."
That's interesting.
Yes. So people always be like, "Wow!" So I just want to.
That might be a signature. That might be a signature of something from the past life that you meant to. That's something to trigger you. That might be a trigger. Sometimes in our past life, we purposefully come back on weird dates to imprint or to trigger us to awaken at a specific time, or some form of a reminder of something. That maybe it sounds to me, just by the sequence of numbers and just from me knowing and researching and so on, when I see a sequence like that, that to me could mean that is some sort of trigger or some sort of reminder that you're supposed to know at a particular time. It's a reminder. People come and incarnate and do the weirdest things. They incarnate with weird numbers. They incarnate with a birthmark on them. There's all kinds of things that people do when they incarnate to give them reminders or triggers to wake up at a certain time. It just sounds like that's a reminder, like you purposefully picked that number to remind you of something. It's probably a pinnacle date. It's probably something you should look for, like on 10s. Right. Anytime you see a 10 or a 1, you should pay attention. Anything with a 10. It makes you, whatever you see 10 somewhere, it maybe it's a warning. Anytime you see a 10, look out for it. So it could just be that. It just looks like the sequence sounds like that. That's just my take on it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, it was so wonderful talking to you.
Same likewise.
I'm just absolutely, startled. So I appreciate you so much taking the time to speak to me.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
hopefully I will get a chance to speak to you again. And
Absolutely.
I hope you have an absolutely wonderful night.
Thank you. Peace, Sea Star. I love it. That's one of our own. I can't call out a name, but shout out to the FleurBrun cipher. Those on FB. All right, so let me take my next caller. Listen, family, I'm not going into over Q tonight. Once we hit the 20, I have 21 more minutes. I'm not going to go over that tonight. This was just a show to see how we did tonight. See if you enjoyed FleurBrun After Dark, to talk about sexuality and bloodlines. So I thought I'd do it today, kick off the show, see if you like it. If you have comments, let me know that you want to do this again. Every 2 weeks we can do FleurBrun After Dark. We go into sexuality and taboos of society, things like that are a little more seedy and a little more piloted. Okay, so let me take the next caller. 502-2492, and you're on the line with FleurBrun. Peace, family. 515-60. Peace.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Sunstar.
Okay, my question was mostly about left-handedness. I mean, it can blend in with sexuality if you want to. I've heard different stuff about it, but I was just curious as to what your intake on it would be about left-handed and right-handedness in today's time. Like, what do you know about it?
Okay. Or being ambidextrous, which is using both. Do you want to get into that discussion too?
Right. Yeah, whatever you put out.
Okay. Well, generally, if you notice that the majority of people who were presidents, I think only one was, and please, family, you can check this on your own. The majority of presidents were all left-handed, meaning that they think with their right brains. It is a quality that allots for someone to be a little more clinically astute, see things from a more objective point of view. Generally, you will see, even with some blood types, I notice that I see a lot more O-negatives or negative Ruses with left hands than right, but it's not always the case. My grandmother's ambidextrous. She writes with both of her hands, both left and right, and she's an O positive. So I've seen a connection there. Generally with, like I said, with what I've noted so far with left hands, they tend to be a little more objective. I notice with right-handed people, they tend to be more subjective. And even so, I find that if you teach a child to utilize both of their hands, their mind actually expands a little wider past their normality of perspection. Meaning that if you teach a child that's normally right-handed to write with their left, you'll notice that their pattern of thinking will change and evolve to be able to look at the full spectrum of something as opposed to just looking at it one way, right or left. So I think I always encourage parents to do that.
Okay. And I have one more question.
Of course.
Why does it seem like so many of the like gay women, gay men are coming towards like the straight, what you would call straight people, like gay females and like that, being more attracted to so-called straight women, so-called gay men are being so more attracted to like straight men.
Okay.
Like, what is that? What's going on with that? Do you think?
The majority of gay people, healthy. Now, listen to what I'm saying. I want to make sure that I'm non-offensive with anyone. The majority of people that are gay, that are homosexual in pattern and behavior, are attracted to same sex. If they are within what we consider in a spectrum, because remember, homosexuality is something that could be learned, or someone can have a genetic imprinting that allots for them to be more skewed into being with the same sex. For the majority of our society now, there's a push for homosexuality based on that is they're trying to get back into the androgynous, and also we're getting the divine feminine coming in, causing the ripples of that. But generally, a male who actually likes males would he's more attracted to straight males based on that male has all the male qualities that he's attracted to. Most gay men don't like feminine gay men. Gay men like men. So if it seems like they're coming on to masculine straight men, that is because they like men. It just may be that our society has made it more permissible for them to come out without being murdered and killed. Because back in the days, if a gay man, you have songs like Batty Boy, Boom Bye Bye and a Batty Boy, you hear that in Jamaica, where they were heinously killing gay men for even looking at them. What's happened is that you're seeing probably more gay men or gay women coming out and coming on to what you consider to be straight people, because they have a society that's allowing for them to do so without the fear of being hurt or harmed as easily as back in the days. I think that's all it is. I think it's a combination that you're seeing men who like men. They always like men, and they like men that look like men, not men that look effeminate. So of course they're going to like men that look straight, but society is allowing them to be more comfortable in who they are. So that's why you're seeing them overtly attracted to men and trying to see if they can solicit regular men because they're attracted to men. Same with women. But there's not as many censures. There's not as many things being held back. Yeah, that's all it is.
That makes sense. Okay, and I have one more question I'm gonna get off. But
yeah.
Okay, I heard you talk a lot about the Andromedas and
yes.
like feminism and females and stuff. I love women and everything.
Yes.
But I mean, I studied a lot of stuff, and it was saying how when it was a planet of like all women and they used to like make babies on their own and stuff.
Yes.
I think it was FleurBrun, maybe.
Yes.
It might have been FleurBrun. I don't know who it was. I forgot. Maybe Bobby Henry. They said that the women, it wasn't just perfect. Like, they end up going, like, lesbian, and, like, they end up fighting with each other, too. Like, and I don't know, I was just confused. Like, I mean, sometimes I heard certain stuff, I'm like, hey, so what about the males? Like, what do we come in at? I mean, not saying I don't, not like, what about us, but it's, like, just confusing if we come from a woman, and they say that, I guess some people say that we're degenerates, I guess, of a female race or something like that. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff nowadays, but I don't know, what do you have to say about that? Like,
okay. Well, yes, the planet in itself energetically is a female. Mother Gaia, Mother Tiamat, Mother Earth is a female.
Right.
Alongst the surface of the planet at one particular time, this is eons ago, the planet was inhabited by female.
When it was Planet Terror?
Yes.
Was it Planet Terror?
Well, there were many names.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the times it was called Planet Terra. The planet,
right.
What inhabited on top of the surface of the earth were women that were androgynous, meaning they were more so hermaphroditic. So I wouldn't say that they were female, so to speak, but they were female-like, meaning that they were able to, they were female.
Okay.
Do you understand? They had breasts, but they also had the capability of inseminating themselves.
I can see how you say that.
Yeah, the process of pathogenesis. And because of that, yes, they had both male and female aspects, meaning they had that competition, that protection, that kind of fighting thing. They had that in them, almost like the Amazonian culture, like the Amazons. So because of that, it would make sense that they were like that. Now, through some genetic modification and also the demise and the the geoengineering of the earth that brought in the moon. Now, this is where some people this is my opinion. When they brought in the moon was towed in. It is a satellite. It is meant to mess with the ebb and flow of the fluids on the earth. It changed the gravitational pull of the earth.
I've heard that.
Yes, and it changed the genetic disposition of the original female. And with a little extra help from some of the ET groups that came here, they genetically modified females to be able to splice them and create what we consider to be the male. That's why the male has what people call a Y. It's not a Y. It's a broken X it's a broken X. That's all it is. It's a missing piece that has been taken away. Males and females in the womb, there's a certain point in the womb where the female and male splice into one. So at the end of the day,
y'all ovaries is basically our nutsack. It kind of drops down. I know the testosterone is what makes us turn male.
Very good.
Ovaries turn into the eggs and stuff.
Yes, you know this, and also that's also why the female supersedes the men in aging. That's why women will surpass men generally in age. A woman will live longer because she's an original zygote. She's not depreciative, meaning she's in more of her original form than a male is. Males tend to live and then burn out quicker than females on this planet.
Oh, okay. So have you ever heard of the Credo to our stories? Like, have you ever heard of that?
Yes, very much so.
His take on because it kind of reminds me of that. He had said that the beings, what the hell, they running the light? Yeah, you running the light. Oh, I'm sorry. He said that the beings that we heard were like sharing, they were one, basically. It was like masculine, feminine was one.
Absolutely.
And something came to the planet and kind of made them separate into, separate bodies, basically, to experience it, I guess, from different forms. But he said, like, it was outrage across the whole planet because they didn't like being separated. He was just saying how they was pointing at each other's bodies. I mean, it was a story, but I really stuck the story. And he was saying how sex is kind of like us trying to get back to that original, like all the Kama Sutra positions and stuff. Just a lot of stuff. I don't know. That's
why what you're saying is absolutely on point, but it's also why they're pushing for people to be also in same-sex relationships, because it is necessary. Ja Vega spoke about this. In order for us to feel back together, it is very important for us to have the male component and female component come invest together to kind of cinch us back together. What's happening is that when you're totally engaged in safe-sex relationships, you're missing your male counterpart. It's an energetic field that you need to have. That's why you'll see some gay men enjoy women's company. That's why you'll see women. It's actually why you see a lot of gay men enjoy the company or enjoy women's company, because it is a necessity to be able to feel back those energies together. We always have a yearning for that. We always do. So it doesn't matter if you're in same sex or opposite sex, you'll always crave the opposite sex in some way or another, because you're trying to get back to oneness. That's all you're doing. Even in transgenderism, transgenderism is a form of doing that. Transgenderism is a person's way of trying to mold themselves back into their oneness. That's all it is.
Yeah, but Miss Stewart said you're gonna be a Frankenstein. You be out here.
Well, Miss. Sophia Stewart. Yeah, well, Sophia Stewart
she had
also.
Good points, though. She had good points. I can't lie.
She did. What she did say also. You got to think of who stole her book as well. Sophia Stewart has a bone to pick with the gentleman who stole her book, her story, her Matrix. They were men who ended up becoming transgender. So when she goes deep into transgender, she's personally motivated to, big up to Sophia Stewart. She's beautiful. But, when she really spoke about it, it comes from her own personal experience too. So she was really hurt. She was really hurt, and she felt insulted that these beings stole her work. And then she's like, so she made sure, she has a personal connection to them changing into transgender.
Yeah, she got her own little, I understand.
Yeah.
I just felt like she did have a little point what she was saying, and she's older, so, sometimes they perceive things differently.
Absolutely.
Sometimes. But, I just was calling in to say that I heard you and I was on my way home from work.
That's cool. Thank you. It's nice to hear from our Sun Star. I'm glad you weren't scared to call in, because some of our Sun Stars are nervous to call in, especially when we're talking about topics like this. So I think I'm grateful for you calling in.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm very comfortable with myself, and I love feminine ways, and I'm a masculine male.
That's right.
I love learning, so
That's
you can never not learn
beautiful.
too much, and you got to look on the other side sometimes.
We love you for it. Thank you.
Love you too.
All right. Peace. Have a good night at work, okay? Peace. It's late that our Sun Star is calling in. So, family, listen, I think we had a masterful discussion this evening. I'm so grateful that you've called in this evening. I'm going to close in the show. This was our first night doing a live on YouTube of our FleurBrun After Dark. I think the discussion was so wonderful. So many different points of view. I know you're saying no. I know I get you guys all ready to talk for like 3 hours. Don't go. They're telling me not to go. It's 2 hours, family. I did this after the fact. I know. But you have me Thursday, so don't worry. We'll go back into this. Thank you. I'm going to try the mango. The mango's wonderful. So listen, if you like the show, thumbs up it. Tell me if you want to do it again every 2 weeks. We could talk about sex. I find that as I talk to a lot of our youthful sun stars and sea stars, I see that we have some conversations that are not being had. And I want to have these discussions with really just an open eye, and just, I have zero intention to harm anyone. So I think if anyone can have this discussion, it's definitely me. Sexually, I'm unafraid to discuss a lot of things, and I'm grateful that I've had this amount of openness. And because of that, we can allow to have these conversations, and also for, us to teach each other different things that would be helpful as we're going into the highest form of consciousness. And as you know, many of the people are twinning right now. Twin flames are coming together. People are tending to have masterful sex. So for that reason, my doggy's trying to lie in my boots. It's a beautiful time right now on the planet. And I think the more that we make love is the less war that we'll make. So I'm an encourager for you to make love and not war. And I will always encourage people to fall in love and to be with each other and to learn each other and to, really, eat their mangoes. I'm a proponent of peace and not war, but I'll bring war to you. If you start something with me, I got war for you all day. Don't get it twisted. But at the end of the day, I would prefer to make love, not war. And I would hope that we encourage that in the least. So anyway, family, I love you. Thank you for joining me on Aquarius Rising, Ninth Gate, FleurBrun After Dark. We started off with the song with Erykah Badu saying, Annie, don't wear no panties. I suggest many of you wonderful, masterful people, you stop wearing panties and brassieres. Burn the bras. No, let me stop. I don't want to start. Listen, don't tell the cops that you stop wearing bras because of me, because I am not going to bail you out when you're not wearing bras and getting arrested. Don't do it. But all I say is freedom. That's a form of freedom. So, always I would encourage you to be more free, to be more natural, and also to keep your pheromones matter. So stop shaving off kush. leave your yonis alone and leave the hair. And ladies, I'll give you a little tip. When you stop shaving and you stop waxing, you can make it look all tapered down there in the yoni space. But men have a tendency to return back to the scene of a crime. I want to say the scene of a crime, the scene where they remember and they have an enhanced sense that goes along with what they encountered. So if you allow him to have your pheromones on his mind and he tastes it, he touches it, and he remembers it, he'll most likely be able to come back to you. And he'll remember that scent as unique to only you. It'll make him less likely to run around with a lot of these groupies. So I'm just giving you a tip. And this is coming from a seasoned woman of a certain age. All right, family, I love you. Have a masterful evening. And for our lunars, have some masterful sex. And for our indigenous or our Moors or our niggas, have some sex in the morning, really good sex. So I would encourage that. All right. So enjoy. I love you. Peace.